Rich environmental stimuli promote intellectual development. The environment in which children grow up not only affects the cultivation of their character but also directly influences their intellectual development. A study on the intelligence of children from poor families showed that only 2% of their intelligence is contributed by genetics, while the vast majority comes from environmental influences. The expression of genes requires rich environmental stimuli, but children from poor families are in extremely deprived environments. Even if they have excellent genes, they cannot be awakened and utilized. In 7-Up, you will see children from affluent families who were already reading the Financial Times, Time magazine, and The Observer, and listening to the Beatles at the age of 7. These rich environmental stimuli constantly promote the brain development of these children. On the other hand, children from poor families may fight on the streets or feel lonely and unable to find anyone to talk to all day, lacking effective stimulation from their environment. In fact, a rich growth environment does not equate to a superior material environment. It requires parents and schools to pay attention to the growth of children. You are probably familiar with the story of Mencius' mother moving 3 times to find a better environment for her son's growth. When I was studying, my parents also followed Mencius' example. They gave up the spacious house my father was allocated in the government compound and moved to a very small house in my mother's school. Looking back now, although the living space was much more crowded at the time, the school environment allowed me to focus more on my studies, rather than being in the mixed environment of the government compound. Using education to break down class barriers. After saying so much, you must be curious, can't class barriers be broken down? If I wasn't born into a wealthy family, am I destined to be poor and backward for the rest of my life? In 7-Up, there are 2 exceptions that have crossed class barriers and can give us inspiration. The first exception is a child from a middle-class family. He went to a poor university because of poor exam performance and dropped out to work as a construction worker in less than a year. When he was interviewed again at the age of 28, he had become a homeless person who relied on Social Security. This is a negative example. The second exception is a child from a poor rural family. When he was interviewed at the age of 14, he was very shy and couldn't even look at the camera. But by the age of 21, he had entered the physics department at Oxford University. He became very talkative and confident about his future. Later, he became a professor at a university in the United States, moving from the poor class to the elite class. This is a positive example. There are many factors that contribute to the difference between these 2 children, but the most critical one is education. Here, I want to quote a famous lawyer from a wealthy family in 7-Up, who said, "You can't give children anything substantial, but good education will benefit them for life." I strongly agree with this statement. However, I want to clarify that the reason why good education benefits children for life is not just knowledge. I believe that the most important thing is that good education allows children to be with a group of outstanding peers, forming a social network of future elites. Getting into prestigious universities does not mean that you can learn knowledge that cannot be learned at other universities, but it means that you have joined a club of future elites. You have a greater opportunity to work and grow with outstanding people. This is the fundamental reason why we continue to strive for progress, because every step forward allows us to join a higher level of people. This cycle enables us to break down class barriers and move from the bottom to the top.